My name is Roy Lewis.
Yay!
Hey! Live on Barnes Island, have done so for 40 years. This bridge is very meaningful to me. I'm kind of close to bridges as my family has been the caretaker of Southwell Bridge since 1940. We went through a dedication down there to the family. It's only befitting that we're going to be here for this same thing. On behalf of the Barnes Island Association, I'd like to welcome you to be part of this wonderful occasion and dedicate the new Knickerbocker Bridge. This is the brand new gateway of our little paradise. If you all remove your hats, we'll now have the Star Spangled Banner. You can't hear me?
Yeah, you need to turn that up.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. There you go.
I failed Sound Systems 101 at school. Okay, now for the Star Spangled Banner. Wonderful to have a group of people that always show up for these occasions and play. Thank you very much, folks. Today we are lucky to live where we live. This is history in the making, this one, folks. This is the first composite bridge built in the world. Isn't it nice to be the first to be built in the world? On my checkbook, I have an address in Trevitt, Maine, and everywhere I go, people say, well, where is Trevitt? Well, maybe after today, somebody will know where Trevitt is. It was built by the oldest bridge construction company in the state of Maine. I just think it's a fascinating happening just on this little corner of the earth. We have some very nice speakers today. We always, sorry, just a minute, folks. We always get too far away from the speaker, then you get in. We always count on the first speaker. She's our local historian. We call her all kinds of things, but the truth of it is, we're lucky to have Barbara Rumsey amongst us. She's going to give us a little history of the bridges across here. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Roy. Can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me now? No. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to get spit all over. I came here 60 years ago as a child. Lived in the Knickerbocker our first year, the house that burned in about 1982. Guess it's coming to life. And I've worked in local history for 25 years now. Everything okay? All right. We speed across both our present and our former bridges, now causeways, oblivious to the repeated battles carried out by our townspeople long ago. They fought to build and maintain or to oppose those bridges. The smaller town bridges, some once contentious, have disappeared, hidden as culverts enveloped with fill. We don't even know we're traversing old bridge sites that once had names like Gravelly, Odlums, and Kelly. The sizable ones, mostly to islands, were built privately as toll bridges. It seemed to be the only way to make them happen. Like the Southport Bridge, Roy. When this bridge was built in 1853, it was called the Bridge from Hodgdon's Island to John Reed II's shore. 6 of its 7 backers included familiar names: Hodgdon, Barter, Lewis, and Reed. Joan Hodgdon, who's sitting in one of the chairs, just told me that there are 15 descendants of Thomas Hodgdon on the bridge, who was one of the first builders, the private residents who pooled their money. Hard as it was to build such bridges privately, the struggle to keep them was harder still. One bridge or another was always on the town warrant, either in an attempt to get the town to kick in for repairs or to ask the town to take it over altogether. About half the time the town kicked in, but it continually refused full responsibility. However, in 1886, the battle over this bridge, then called the Western Bridge, seemed to fizzle out. The selectmen simply reported they rebuilt it because it was in bad shape. I guess decades of arguing at town meeting knocked the stuffing out of some people. Or it could be that the advent of industry and the summer trade, in the shape of summer colonies, ice companies, and pogie factories, brought an expansive feeling to the town toward the end of the 1800s, loosening the tight fists of ever-vigilant taxpayers. The name Knickerbocker was attached to the bridge after John Reed's shore became the site of the Knickerbocker Ice Company in 1876. The ice company was a major employer for many years, giving work to hundreds of men at the most critical time of year. In 1921, 45 years after it started operations here, the last of the ice company's buildings were removed. That same year, Boothbay voters were asked to discontinue the Knickerbocker Bridge. There were 2 arguments for abandonment. 1, the town had too much to take care of. 2, as cars grew more common, slightly longer trips became easier for some. So the short bridges from the south to Sawyer's, then to Hodgdon's, and on to Barter's provided sufficient connectors to the principal islands. So some said. The liveliest town meeting in memory was packed. Rebuilding was the only course. That was clear. But at what cost? Minor repairs continued. Then the state's bridge building heyday of the late 20s and early 30s changed everything. 300 were put up in just a few years. In 1931, it was our turn. The Knickerbocker Bridge was rebuilt with a combination of 1/6 town funds, 1/3 county funds, and 1/2 state funds, totaling about $65,000, more than the town's total tax. Thereafter, the state took over the bridge, and the local tussling permanently ended. In 1982, the state did a major superstructure rebuild for about $500,000. And that brings us to the present complete reconstruction. The 1800s bridges were brought to you by private residents and the town voters. The 1900s and the 2000s by the town and state. Today is not a good day to complain about taxes in Boothbay, with more than $5 million state dollars sitting in our backyard. My thanks to all the taxpayers and all the workers who've made this bridge possible for the last 150 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara, very much. Always a little history to go along with present. When I moved over here 40 years ago, that present bridge was there, but it was limited to 12 ton, and I was building a house over. Needless to say, you can't get a cement truck across the bridge. It's limited to 12 ton. I used to have a lot more friends than I got now because I wore them out with a cement mixer and bags of concrete. But the house still stands. This next speaker, he's a unique person, and I wished everybody here could meet him before the day is out. He's been a star in this whole project. His name is Scott Stanchfield. He's the project supervisor for this bridge. He works for Wyman and Simpson. He's worked for them for 3.5 years, and before that he worked for Reed & Reed, so he's built bridges for 25 years. But more than that, he's one awfully nice person. Give him a long clap for his introduction.
Well, thank you. I'm not much of a speaker,
Yes, you are.
as you can tell. But, first of all, what a wonderful turnout we've got here today. I'm in awe. Thank you. Oh. And basically, what a wonderful bridge. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to build bridges for the last 25 years, and everyone had its challenges. And this bridge had every challenge imaginable, from telling me to take that barge over to this bridge over here and make it fit. I'm like, you're kidding me, right? And they're like, well, that's how we bid it. I'm like, boy, we're in trouble now. So as luck would have it, and almost darkness, we stuck it through, and I'm like, wow, there's our first hurdle. And then we arrived on site, and I took over the job, and I challenged my crew. I said, we're going to set some goals for this project. Number one is the first one built in the world, and we ought to be proud of that. And with that pride, we need to show quality, and we need to show respect, and we need to show gentlemanship as construction workers. And I commend my crew. They did that all the way through, and I'm very proud of them for that. Our first goal, every job I run is my first goal is my only goal, and that's to make sure that everybody goes home safe. That may sound like an eyewash, but it's the real deal. Out here in construction, we work through the winter. There's hazards worse than Vietnam. I mean, there's everything that can kill a man in one day. We have to get up with our gear, life jackets, hard hats, safety. We have to plan for safety. And by God, they met that goal. We worked 14 months with 0 accidents on this job, which is... With that being said, we had a great visit one day from our local OSHA. One of our friends we welcomed. Actually, I do welcome OSHA, and that's the truth. Because if they come on a job and see something we're doing wrong that can save somebody's life, then it's well worth it. And so I tell the crew that don't run around scared when OSHA shows up. Welcome them. Welcome them to our house. Basically, we spend 80% of our life in construction working in a community like this. And then we go home and spend it with my dear wife. Love you, Vic. And she drove all the way down here from Bingham to be here today, so I think that deserves a round of applause. So with that being said, OSHA came on the job. And everybody's running around, oh my God, OSHA, and they're texting when they weren't supposed to be. And OSHA left. They shook my hand and said, congratulate your crew, 0 violations. Yeah. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. I've been with Wyman and Simpson 3.5 years now, and it's an honor to work for this company. They're the oldest bridge builder in the state of Maine. We're not the biggest, but I will say this, we are the best, and that's no doubt about it. Wyman and Simpson's values are the employees, and they have not swayed from that. We started out 4 years before Read and Read, and everybody knows how big they are. And we've stayed the course, right across the board, quality. And that was our second goal on this job, was we need to give them quality. It has to be a perfect job. No cutting corners, no hiding from Steve, the inspector. Steve Palmer's right over there. He's hiding. We have an open policy where if this needs to be fixed, tell us and we'll fix it. If it needs to be done right, we'll do it right. No arguments, no complaints. We'll just take it on the chin and move forward, and we have on this project. I set a couple of lofty goals. I said, well, we're going to pour a bridge deck in November. And they're like, yeah, right. I could hear them mumbling. And then I told my project manager, I said, we're going to go for a bridge deck in November. And he says, yeah, right. So then I told my inspector, our engineer, I said, Phil, we're going to go for a bridge deck this November. Well, in 5 minutes' time, he'd gone to the office and said, Scott's lost his mind. I said, well, Phil, with that attitude, we never will get here. Right? I said, we got to set a goal for ourselves, that way we maintain production. And by gosh, last November, the second week, God gave us sunshine for a week, and we poured a deck. And with that, prepared us for the second phase of the bridge. We'd already gone through the cycle once, so we knew what to do. Wyman and Simpson decided as a company to keep it going all winter. We were going to shut the job down, and that would have meant unemployment for the crew, pretty much. As I say, we're not big, we're good. And Wyman and Simpson believes in the crew, and so we decided to take one on the chin. And they asked me to do a little research on the history of Boothbay Harbor's winters. Wrong, and wrong. Your normal winter down here is a ½ inch of rain, and then you start mowing your lawns. Freezing rain, a little bit of snow, then you rake your lawns. This winter, as you see that barge out there, we all shoveled it 100 times. And there's only one way to clean the barge. We've tried them all, and it's shovel the barge. And so it became, we had a barge crew, and they were shoveling the barge while everybody else was having fun. And I realized there was a mutiny at hand, and I'm like, we all go down and shovel the barge, and we all go to work. And that worked out well. And I love the winter, but I'd had enough. That was enough. So we met that goal. The second goal I set this spring, I said we're going to open the bridge Memorial Weekend. And another one of those, Scott's lost it again. And but I thought we could. And so we pushed forward. We brought in one of the best earth superintendents I've ever been honored to work with, Earl. Where are you, Earl? Give him a big round of applause. Earl showed up on the job. Earl's crew was Earl, Gene the operator, and Earl. And Earl comes up to me in the morning and is like, may I have? No, that's your crew. You've got that and we've got this. And by God, he's done it. And we fine graded. And then I had a meeting with the association and I said, we'll pick the 4th. We're going to miss it by a week, maybe. That was about a month ago. And then the skies opened up. And if anybody hasn't noticed, it rained, and it rained, and it rained. And the reason why the barge is still here today, it wasn't because we wanted to demobilize it. I was worried about 2 species of every kind. We were going to put them all on the barge and float away and save mankind was my plan. So that being said, we met that goal. We didn't get it open last weekend, but I still wanted to keep the patriotic theme. And I believe in the United States of America, and we're honored to be here today. It's been a great honor. It's a wonderful community. Right from the get-go, people coming by, dropping us off cakes. My wife thanks you for that. A attaboy at the store. Major interest, not just foolish questions, questions of integrity. What are we doing? What's going on? How's it coming? We're ahead of schedule. The state schedule, I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, next June? Next June, we're supposed to open this bridge. And here we are in June, a year ahead of schedule, the way I see it. One contractor in town we hooked up with, boy, was that a big mistake. No name. No, there is a name, and to him I owe a lot of the credit to this bridge. Neil Rennie Construction. For those of you who know Neil, right from the get-go, we're too much alike, two alpha males, so we butted heads a lot. But that being said, I could call him at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he doesn't know how to answer the cell phone yet, so Gene would answer. And I'd say, Gene, give Neil the phone. What do you want, Scott? We're in a panic. I forgot to order dump trucks, I think. No, you did. Oh, okay. Have a nice morning. But with that, every time, not one time, every time I called Neil for help, whether it be a dump truck. Unfortunately, we had some bumps in the road a couple weeks ago. No complaints. It rained and it got bumpy. Neil came right down that Saturday with Earl and fixed the problem immediately, and that was a big help. And he's done that throughout the project. And if everybody give Big Neil Rennie a big round of applause, I'd really appreciate it. So with that, I just want to thank everybody. It's an honor to be here with us on this job. We've made some inventions that we're not going to share with anybody. It was the first composite bridge, and they bid it to pump it with a pump truck and fill these beams. And we went through the first fire drill and it didn't work very well at all. And I'm thinking, money, 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 money. This is going to be bad. And I don't want to blow my horn, but I had a guy named Doc here. He was a fabricator, and him and I got together, and I'm like, Doc, build me this funnel. Off he goes. He gives me this list of iron, and off he goes into the corner. And Doc fabricated this PT-109 funnel, we'll call it. And by gosh, it worked. And this little simple funnel that worked on gravity and can-do attitudes filled the beams. And I think one day we ended up filling like 10 in one day, which was a lot better than 2 with a pump truck, I can tell you that right now. So it was just ideas like that that made the job special. You know, we come up with different ideas and it worked. We survived the winter, and we survived the project. And I'm honored that you guys are about ready to drive across this bridge. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. I think if Wyman and Simpson are so much more efficient than the state, maybe we ought to see if we can't get them to run the state. And I hear a lot of applause for that, so you might take that message back. This is a simple statement to Wyman and Simpson and Scott Stansfield in particular and his crew. It's appropriate to offer our sincere compliments for all of your hard work and for going the extra mile for making us as little disruption in our daily lives during the construction of this project. I'm sure there are hundreds of people who would like to join me in saying thank you for a terrific job.
This is totally out of character. There's 2 people that I didn't mention that I just sit here. I didn't have any notes. I did, but I got these bifocal glasses and I haven't figured them out yet. Dick McCullum has been one of the best neighbors in the world. He even let us use his water to water the bridge. Thank you, Dick. And last but not least, the one that's down there in the corner hiding, Steve B's been my general foreman on this job, and he's led by example and gave you this project. And Steve deserves a round of applause too, please.